Welcome back. Now, a public consultation has been launched on a new rule which aims to tackle harmful gender stereotypes in adverts. Under the change, ads that depict men or women failing at tasks because of their gender are likely to fall foul of the law. Well, joining me to discuss this are brand expert Jonthan Gabay and Juliet Dowley from Girl Guiding. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining us. Juliet, if I could firstly start with you, is this a right approach?
I think this is absolutely the right approach. So Girl Guiding did a massive survey and they found that 93% of girls and young women aged 11 to 21 said they wanted advertisers to stop using stereotype depictions of men and women. It's really, really positive that they're finally taking action to stop making women and girls feel uncomfortable with what they're seeing in the media. What
adverts do you take issue with the most? What type of adverts?
So I personally find it really, really problematic when advertisers show images of a particular body type that can be really triggering for some women. So think of all those advertisements for weight loss supplements that you're always seeing, like around you on the tube or whatever. For some girls, that can really reinforce unhealthy ideas about body image. But also, and perhaps more to do with what the Committee on Advertising Practice is doing today, I saw a massive advert by a major retailer last Christmas where all the women were fussing over the turkey in the kitchen. Then the man coolly goes outside and does it on the barbecue. And it's just damaging. It's just reinforcing that gender stereotypes that are making girls feel that they can't do whatever they want to do.
OK, Jonathan, I'm just going to bring you in a second. Just bear with me. We just want to bring our viewers these latest pictures that have come into us in the last few minutes of Harry and Meghan in Windsor. These are the first pictures that we've seen of them today. You can see them in the car. Yes, you can see them in the car as they prepare for what will be the biggest day of their lives. And those preparations are continuing in Windsor. We'll have a live coverage of those preparations throughout the course of the day. But these are the first pictures that we've seen of the happy couple as they prepare for that big day. Going back to our discussion now, let's go back to Jonathan. I mean, is this some interesting points there from Juliet? Is this bringing the industry into the 21st century?
Yeah, OK, it is bringing the industry into the 21st century, but your guest is talking an absolute lot of twaddle because when it comes to stereotyping, you get a lot of adverts which stereotype men as being buffoons, which is not true. Not all men are buffoons. Some men are, some women are. You know, it's about people. It's not about, you know, whichever gender they are. And, you know, you get adverts which may show that, you know, a young girl wants to become a ballerina. That's fine. You wouldn't get a man becoming a ballerina. You would get him becoming a ballerino, which is a male ballerina. But it's you know, our Prime Minister is female. It's all about people. It's not about saying, oh, well, we're going to have to address every single creed, sex, and all the rest of it. It's a 30-second advert to sell a product.
Juliet?
I understand that these adverts are very short. They're only 30 seconds. But the problem is that they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And we have no choice about whether or not we do see
rubbish.
Damaging adverts.
Absolute rubbish.
One at a time, please. Go continue, Juliet.
I have no choice when I walk on tube about what kinds of body types I see. And for me personally, and for a lot of other young women, that can be very triggering. For example, 59% of girls that Girl Guiding surveyed said that adverts that they'd seen that are airbrushed have made them feel pressured to look a different way. They may be very short, but they can still be very, very damaging.
It's a fair point, Jonathan, isn't it? I mean, you know, in a time when we are talking about mental health, which is a good thing, and everybody is addressing that concerns, you know, you do get a lot of people who have very, you know, issues and concerns because of their body image. And when you see a picture, a big poster on the board about, you know, selling a supplement with somebody in a bikini that's in this ideal image of the perfect body, that will have an effort. And if banning these adverts is the answer or part of that solution, then so be it.
And that also affects men. If you want to talk about mental health with this week having the awareness of that particular subject, you know, there's more suicides in men of a particular age because of social pressures. So, you know, the argument, it's a fair and reasonable argument in terms of we don't want to put pressure onto either male or female. It's about people, and it's also about common sense as well. Remember, they're selling a product or a service, and it's not directed at saying, you know, we're going to start saying that you must conform to this body type or that body type.
Julia, I mean, are we being naive by saying that in 30 seconds our view of society and how society will be determined?
I don't think we are being naive, because even though each one is very short, we see them everywhere. And the other guest was speaking about the impact on men, and that's equally as important. In fact, these new rules will specifically deal with mocking men for not conforming to gender stereotypes about masculinity, and they will deal equally with sexualization of men and women. So these adverts, short though they are influencing men and women. It's really, really important that we do something about that.
Jonathan?
Yeah, I think that I think your guest is absolutely correct. I don't disagree with anything that she's saying there. But the thing is also, just to go back to what I was saying, and that is use common sense. There are going to be young girls who want to become ballerinas. There's going to be young girls who want to become scientists. It's about whether the person can do that job or have that aspiration. It's not about sexism, because otherwise you're going to have to be so politically correct that you're never actually going to get to the point about what you're selling.
Julia, what about the argument that, you know, more time should be spent on banning things like junk food and alcohol? Those are two things that we know have a detrimental impact on people, and it has on kids too.
It's definitely important to look at lots of areas where it might be important to see where advertising is influencing people's behaviour in a negative way. And yeah, there are lots of other areas that are important, but I don't think that in any way takes away from the importance of gender stereotypes having a negative impact on our society.
Jonathan, should more time be spent on junk food and alcohol ads as opposed to this?
I think that the junk food and alcohol ads is a separate issue, and I think that we've got to be very, very cautious of what we're doing in terms of what the messages that are going out there. But the thing is, going back to the sexism stuff, again, you can't have an entire list of saying, well, it's got to please this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. It's going to be ridiculous.
Juliet, final thoughts from you?
I think this is amazingly, amazingly positive. 93% of girls have said that they want change, and now we're finally seeing change that will make girls feel less uncomfortable, more empowered, and boys feel less uncomfortable and more empowered.
OK, I'll have to leave it there, I'm afraid. We are out of time. Jonathan, Juliet, good to see you both. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the weather.